I'm going to report it. Okay. I'm going to report it to the cloud and I'll try to find it again because I'm pretty new at this stuff here.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So you want to, just to repeat, you would like to focus on community to community, I mean, local food systems that are set up to trade with other communities, also local food systems, right?
Exactly. Because then I see that if you have a cooperative, let's say in Mount Parnonas, where I live, or a community that is working there, we are producing, for example, this is only an example, olive oil. So if we go, and today I heard about rice that is very iron rich. So a community in India is doing a specific rice that is iron rich. So I can see myself, the people in India receiving olive oil and us receiving rice that is very, which means that we have pre-ordered, then there is no danger for farmers not to get paid, and we have eliminated a lot of steps in the way there. And that's what I want to do, C2C. And C2C means community to community trading. That was one of my suggestions when I put down my business plan. And I think it needs delving deeper into it. It's not finished, but it was a very good idea when we started.
Yeah, well, that's the whole idea of innovations brokerage, right? I mean, because that clearly requires brokerage, what you're trying to do.
Exactly. So let me tell you what we are trying to do. First of all, we are located nearby ancient Sparta. Everybody knows Sparta. I am in Mount Parnonas, a region that is earmarked by the European Union as a Natura 2000 area due to the excellent amount of biodiversity and uniqueness on both the fauna and flora of the place. The other good thing about the region that is very unique is that it puts together the sea, the plain, which is olive orchards mainly, and some fruit trees, and the mountains. So you have within a very small dedicated area all three regions. Of course, the negative thing is that no, you do not have the distances or the areas that other huge areas have, like Australia or United States. However, you do have biodiversity in fish, in plants, and in mountain life. So inside the Mount Parnonas, the Natura 2000 area, there used to be 24 villages full of people. If you see today, you see the 24 villages, but they are empty. And 80% at a lot of cases, the people have left, which means that you lost the stewards of the mountain. Can you see disaster? I can. Because if the people are not there, then to protect it is almost impossible. Also, there is brain drain that is happening, which means that who is going to give birth to the young Greeks? This is, we are talking about species that they are becoming extinct, and we have nations that are starting to become extinct. And we do have a very serious problem because all our young, well-educated minds are leaving. Nobody wants to be a shepherd. Nobody wants to be a fisherman. Nobody wants to be what I call an agricultural entrepreneur. Somebody that is feeding the others and they're not feeding them junk. They're feeding them in a proper way. So there is a very big mind shift that needs to change. When I went and I visited the villages that they used to have, for example, 1,500 shepherding families, we now have 8. That's how, that's alarming rates. We used to have 200 fishermen, and we now have 12. That's alarming, very alarming. And we are losing our ethnic and social makeup. It's not only the environment, it's the whole thing. And yes, all-inclusive holidays can go up to a point, but I don't think that they can preserve culture, earth, and biodiversity. So I'm making an effort to revitalize those villages by linking the microcosm to the macrocosm, which means that I would like to, first of all, revitalize the soil. That's where it all starts. And of course, I call upon the sea people with algae, with all kinds of sea life to clean the sea, to bring fertilizers into the orchards, and then take this up in the mountains where the shepherding, the animals, and all other herbs of the mountains live. For this, I have called upon a very large international network of like-minded people, starting with Dr. Pauli Gunter, who has come, the author of Blue Economy, who has come twice into our village and has carried weekends, 3 days of teaching people how to start bioeconomy business. He's a proponent of, we don't talk about stuff, we do stuff. So first of all, I translated his book, that it's providing people with almost the manual of 15, 20 new ideas. And of course, I cannot just be a talker, I need to do the work. So guess what I did? I started a mushroom growing business, mushroom as in fungi, because I wanted to introduce the fungi kingdom and the recycling inside the forest and the mother tree network ideas. So I saw what would be an excellent idea for raw materials inside the region that could be made into food. We saw that olive branches were burnt. Now, can you see CO2 being released in the atmosphere? I can. Also, I had to knock over a couple of roundups. And I'm going, my goodness gracious, I cannot afford to have this. So all of a sudden, we are cutting the branches. We're making them very small pieces. We insert the mycelia. And all of a sudden, we have fresh fungi. But we don't stop there, because Blue Economy is all about generating income streams that they do not only pertain in one income source. So A, we dry the mushrooms. B, dehydrate the mushrooms. B, we make mushroom balls or mushroom pies or mushroom mixes. Third, we are contemplating starting a mushroom-based beer. Then we are actually getting trained in doing mushroom leather. Then I went into Climate Kick and I saw mushroom bricks. So all of a sudden you have all kinds of income coming in. In order for you to do that, and that's the heart of my project. The heart of my project is that you need to have a lab where people and common people in the region can come into the microscope and can see the microcosm. Then you knock, knock, STEMs, can you come and help us? Because we need science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to come and do all this. But of course, without the translation of the arts, you cannot really have an understanding, especially of the locals. Okay, so it's not stems, it's steams that we are having, we would like to engage, and with the end goal that at the end of this we're going to have, like in Portugal, where they have the Boom Festival and Net Zero Festival, where we celebrate all these efforts that the young people are doing into a huge, because after all, Greeks know how to party. So if they know how to party, if we change even the partying behavior, all of a sudden we are incorporating culture and entrepreneurship. We cannot do that unless we have a fab lab where we take all this knowledge and we apply it on, let's see if we can make materials out of mushrooms. Let's see if we can make different products. In order to do that, you need two things, the biolab and the fab lab, all in one. And that's the heart of the learning. So my business plan says, first of all, we have an educational component. Then we go into the network and we invite people to service learn, which means that they come for 3 months, they do all kinds of wonderful projects, and they leave having acquired the knowledge of working in a community with the locals, not by themselves, with the locals. So when they go, they have left something in the community, yet in their suitcase, they have both application, knowledge, and culture. This is my project.
That sounds quite impressive, Christiana. Thank you for sharing that. You know, we would love to do a case clinic with you where you have a larger team to listen in, and I think it would be important to understand who is we. You know, when you're saying we, can you elaborate a little bit on what your local community looks like, the people you're working with, what is already in place?
Yes. First of all, I would like to tell you that you have a case in your hands because we are difficult, very difficult. So
it's okay, we can handle difficult.
No, but I want to be extremely practical and extremely on the ground. I don't want to paint the picture that it's beautiful and it is not beautiful. Greeks operate in clans, which means that you need to be one of them to be trusted. B, if you are a foreigner, you're always, they even have one word that it's called xenos. Xenos is a foreigner. So the first thing that they ask, are you xenos? Like, are you a foreigner? The moment you are a foreigner, you are not part of the community. So for meaningful work to be happening, the bridge between xenos, the foreigners, and the locals need to be bridged, need to be
you need to have someone from the inside. Yeah, I used to be called Guilo in China, so it's all good. I got
all right. So the we then includes this bridging person, which I think I am because of the work that I have been doing with the community. And now they know that I am very dedicated. And yes, I am bringing a whole bunch of people. And they're very surprised by that because it's not only Gunter, but I have 15 other people that they have come in and we have worked with. Several universities. So the we part is people that they are doing very similar activities. They are doing leadership, evolutionary leadership work. They do taking all kinds of data for accounting, all kinds of data for how do you make sense in communities. So there is a lot of, and of course they're doing bioeconomy. The other thing is that they make your life difficult. For example, in order to have the mushroom license, which is a piece of paper that says you do not need a license because you do not have machinery, you do not have anything that needs, you're just breaking little cuttings and you're growing mushrooms. So you need a piece of paper that says you don't need a license. I have spent 12 months.
That's the best one I've heard so far.
So I'm saying that, yes, it is a different, and sometimes it seems impossible to the outside, yet inside, this is possible. You will need 12 months to get a very simple step overpassed. Now, with the bad stuff comes the good stuff. If they see that they can gain out of that, if they see that it's something good out of this one, you will not know the power of exponential power until you've seen them deciding that this is what we want to do. They are very much happening. So they either fight you like mad or work like they are mad. So also, the last thing that I want to say is that they are a little bit afraid for taking chances for change because they have been subject to scrutiny and the trust is not very well established. So if you go and you say, here is an absolute fantastic change, did you say change? We don't want change.
No, maybe we'll call it opportunity, not change. No.
Exactly. If they see the money behind that, like if they see that if it can be translated to 400 euros per household per month, all of a sudden you're angel with flying wings behind your back. Okay, so it does depend how do you communicate this to the local people, but they want to see. They cannot believe. They need to see something very concrete to believe. Sorry. Yes.
So what we need to see to get a picture into our head. And Sumit needs blockchains, but she calls pictures blockchains. but what we need to understand is the relationships that you have with groups within your community. So there is the licensing authority, right? So the governance that you're dealing with. But then who are existing, let's say, wholesalers, aggregators, logistics companies. So what do you have in this area?
Okay, first of all, we have 3 levels of government. So you need to know that there's things that they're done in the local level by the mayor, because he has authorities to do certain stuff. Then you have what we call the regional government, which is exactly the same thing as in United States. You have a state, so they have different mandate. Yes, different mandate. And then you have the central government headed by the prime minister that has all the departments and they have another mandate. So making sense between who has what authority, it's a PhD exponential work because you get all lost. Now, what I have done, and I think that that's terribly important, is I have created a business, which means that I have gone through all the ropes. But the most important thing is that I have gone to the presidents of the communities and have talked to them about entertaining the idea of changing things in their village first. So they can be trade centers. The moment you talk, can we have jobs? Then you get their interest. Okay? Jobs means income generated.
Yeah. So what I was referring to is, let's say from a very technical perspective, if you want to
Yes.
trade, with a community, whether that's in India or within communities within Greece,
Yes.
so on, how would you move product from point A to point B? I mean, how is this technically and physically going to work?
Excellent. Okay, I'm sorry. First of all, you're going to do it by road. So you need to take that container and take it to a container port so it can go out. That can be done by two means. One is the road and the second is the port. The closest port to us is less than an hour and a half, maybe 1 hour and 15 minutes, okay, somewhere in between. Or the big port of Piraeus, which is 2 hours and a quarter. In Greek standards, that's a long distance. In Greek standards. In American standards, it's next door. Now, number 3 is that you have road, you have shipping, and then you have local people that they have local logistics that they take it to the central logistics. So in actuality, you do have a local doing the work. Then they take them into depots, both by road or by ship, and they take them to the other countries. Also, there is a movement in Greece that they are trying to do train logistics. But the Italians bought the train network, and we don't know what they have in their minds. Mm-hmm. That's to be seen. I also heard, I'm sorry, and I also heard that there is a very big movement towards trains in my region, because right now they do not have commercial or passenger trains in Peloponnesus. But I have heard both governors promising people that they can expect a train network very soon. Also, I heard
about tracks already. Are the tracks laid already, or are they? Oh
yes, the tracks are very well. My dad used to manage. He was the CEO of a textiles factory, and I'm going to give you just an indication that he had about 12 double trucks each week leaving his place to go to Germany, actually, because he was exporting to Germany. Mm-hmm. We also have huge amount of food because the Leonidio, which is a city about 50 minutes away from us, is almost like California in terms of how much produce they have. So there is movement of trucks all the time.
So my question was, do you have someone, a person or a group that in your community that you're working with who knows how to handle the logistics?
Absolutely. The answer is yes.
Okay. So then the question is and how many farmers are you working with? How many farmers do you have that are working with you?
Good question. There are about, first of all, we had we had 3 very big cooperatives. But the important word in here is had, not have. Okay? That's very important. Why? Because government intervention intervened with the co-ops, political parties intervened with the co-ops, and in English it's called they screwed them up. Mm-hmm. They messed, sorry, I don't have another word, okay?
Oh, it's the picture.
I think it paints the picture, okay?
Yes.
Now, we are trying to lead a new effort in a new way of cooperatives, not in the old way. And let me tell you, it is very tough. It is very hard because you are getting into an area that everybody got screwed up. Why should they trust you? Like, answer me this. And you're saying, look, we need to be working on this. Now, I tackled it in a different way. I tackled it by becoming a member of a co-op, of an energy co-op, with the business women of Greece. All of a sudden, you have female leadership and you have cooperative. You are touching words that male farmers are not associating themselves with. So I am answering you. I am a member of a female cooperative in paper that has to do with energy. So all of a sudden you are tackling different stuff. Number two, I am trying to get the farmers to be thinking differently, and be thinking differently means regenerative agriculture. It does not mean me going into the farming operation and stepping on Roundup. How many do I have? Few. But few in my case means very strong power. So it's not a matter of, oh, I have 250. It's whom do I have? Because I have the decision makers. So they are with me, and two of them are presidents of the villages. So if I have the presidents of the villages, you know that I have a movement. And I was given from one of the presidents of the village, the first common property to do the first food forest. Yes, you see, yes, I know. So I'm excited. You see, it's not huge, but the point is I'm starting the food forest. You understand? It's small, but it's potent. It's like yeast. You don't need kilos of yeast. You only need little bit, and it does the job. So allow me to say that I'm a yeast economy person.
I like that, yeah.
Okay, now we have about 450 farmers.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, that's a lot, but not converted 450. Okay, I only have the yeast farmers. So I don't know if I answered you, but this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to map, we're just trying to understand your situation. So what I heard you say so far is that you want to consolidate your agricultural capacity within your community and see what you can do to prepare it for export markets. Now, you were thinking about exports maybe to India or to countries that are more compatible from an economic perspective. But you could also think about trading community to community within Greece, right? So to have a barter-style economy within Greece, which would become just a separate form of economy. So you have issues with licensing and permitting, but you have partners that if you can provide them with a picture of we can make some money here, they're going to come on board and play along. So you have to create some kind of a model that makes sense to everyone, and then you can start chipping away at. So you already have a group of farmers. Some of them are already into regenerative, soil regenerative, but most are not.
They're just starting. Oh yes, this is my dream. Regenerative ag tourism is my dream. But in order to have regenerative ag tourism, you need absolutely to have your farmers backing you. And I don't have that muscle yet. I'm building it. Now, before we go to this, I want to make sure that we have an understanding in here that what I am working towards, number one, is my farmers right now, they receive Italian people that they come and they say, how much are you selling your olive oil for? And they give them €2 for the liter. That's like robbing them. Okay, I need to make that.
I can see that.
Yes, yes, but they are the only people that they come with money in their pockets and they say, how much olive oil do you have? That much. Okay, take it. I am buying it. I'm gone. And they sell it for €2. If I teach them how to join the sea, the fertile soil with polyculture, not monoculture, and how can I involve the animals that they are up in the mountains all together into a full circle, then they would start seeing that they could be making more money out of that. And to answer your question, in order, if they see that the tourists are asking for their bio products, if the tourists are giving them €50 for milking the goat,
Yes.
all of a sudden, it's a game change.
It's a holiday, or it's a working holiday where they're paying for the working holiday, right? But they're learning so much and they're going back, taking that with them. You're educating in a huge way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today that I had a talk here, the talk is not to educate the tourists or not to educate the Greeks, but to educate the restaurant owners, the horeca, because they need to be educated. They need to understand that if they serve their tourists beautiful food, they will be getting paid more. And there are other ways of skinning a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So what is important is that we get rid of this. We are here to pay you €2 for your olive oil. That's number one, addressing issue. Number two, no, they cannot only do monoculture. And third is we get everything working for regenerative tourism. And all of a sudden you have the change that you dreamt of.
So, Christiana, what we would love for you to do is sort of shrink this down into this, into the case study. So you have like 15 minutes, to make your case. And I did it last time, and boy, I had to really trim it down so I wrote it out, right? And then I rehearsed myself a couple of times, recording myself, because I had to squeeze that into 15 minutes is a task. And then after that, we would go into like clarifying questions, Sumit and others are on the call then. And then we go into brainstorming, what kind of resources would be helpful and so on. And I thought when you started out with your story here by saying how your villages are emptied out, and so I think that's really emotional. I mean, that was really very powerful, right? To see the tragedy really that these little communities that could create such a vibrant way to live for families, and young families in particular, that it's just not there because there's no vision and there's no work, and there is it's just whatever. But So if you would like take 2-3 minutes to say, here's my community, here's what's happening in my community, and this is what we're trying to do, and here are the people that I'm working with. I have the government, and I have my farmers, and I have local politicians, and so on. So this is the scenario that we're working with. I think that would be really awesome, because then, if that's really sort of focused and concentrated, then you have people in the room who will think of, what could this be, and where could we be going with this. And so just to make clear, we are in a formative stage, right? So we are working to build a platform where, on the one hand, we're reaching out to communities like you to learn what your needs are, and then on the other hand, we're reaching out to find resources, that would come into play and that could assist you. So we are also building a brokerage in some form, so to link needs with resources, and so we hope that by October, November or so, we have something up and running where that starts working. But so we really need to learn from you, because we need to develop a process structure that helps us to map out, what we need to know in order to help. So we'll once the case clinic is over, we'll be in touch, to keep talking and to keep evolving this. And in the process, we're going to develop our own learnings, right, and structures that we need to have.
I have, respecting what you're doing, I have in the chat tried to do a 3-minute elevator pitch for my project. Now, this is not exactly what you just described to me, because I took notes. However, I will try to condense what you told me into that structure and go for the 3 minutes. Okay, because
you have 15 minutes.
Yes, but in the 15 minutes you said that I need to present, so people
Got it.
So people can do their own questioning, their own concerns, ideas, explanations, so on and so forth. So I need to be extremely focused and laser focused, actually, into what is it that I am trying to do. So I will try my best to do the 3 minutes presentation, so people do get the condensed, and then they can ask me all kinds of questions. Or do you want me to do a PowerPoint presentation?
No PowerPoint. I mean, unless it's going to be probably, I don't know. I mean, if you think a PowerPoint would help you to tell your story, but typically it's better to just free flow. Now I can guide you through the 15 minutes with questions if you think that would help. Yeah, would you prefer that format?
I would prefer that I do a 3-minute first draft, that you see it, and then you make amendments and you ask me questions that they are very helpful in leading others to understand. Okay. Because if you have not understood, that means I'm not making the mark. I need to be at par with understanding. I know my story, but I need very many minutes to say it. So I think what I am asking for help is for me to do the first draft and you go over it, clarify it, and help me to make it better.
You bet. We can do that.
Yeah.
So when do you think would be the time to schedule this case clinic? So we have on the 19th of August, we have Trisha coming on. It'd be great if you could join and watch her, because then you get more comfortable with the format. And so when do you think you would be ready?
I do have a suggestion. Mondays, if I put Monday morning is my getting better moment.
Okay.
I think that I would like to have my first draft on Monday.
Okay.
And then you tell me how many days you need to do that. And then next Monday, I either have it corrected or bettered. So it's Mondays that I do all this work. Then you tell me which Monday you want me to present. So I have all Mondays for you and my tasks.
Okay, so we could do, so you would like to do the case clinic on a Monday?
Yes.
Okay, so how about August 30? How does that sound?
That sounds excellent.
Okay.
And I do not have a calendar in front of me. August 30 is what day?
Monday.
Oh, beautiful. So August 30th, Monday, I'm making the case. Meanwhile, we have how many Mondays until then?
2, I think, right? Let me just, sorry, I need.
No, we have 4.
That's right. Today, you're right. So that would be 1, 2. Yeah, we have 4 Mondays. So the 19th case, well, the case clinic with Trisha is on the 19th. Yeah, so we could give, what do you think, Sumit? Should we do the 23rd or the 30th? Is the 23rd too fast?
Yeah, I think at least a week, leaving at least a week.
Okay, so yeah, the 30th, then it's Monday. And we typically schedule this around 11 a.m. Pacific time. I think that's 7 o'clock your time.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, good. So then let's schedule that, and we'll be in touch to ping pong maybe to pre-map your story. That would also help me to share with someone in Europe who is working on a similar concept. Yeah, okay. So, Meet, you have any questions?
Only that I need guidance, and I'm very willing to work hard to make it happen.
Oh,
so I want you to know that if you correct me, or if you say, Christiana, really, that doesn't make sense, I will not be offended. I will try to understand why is it not making sense and what is it that you are needing in order for me to have it patted down. So I am very willing to work around and have a very good end result. So that takes a lot of courage sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
I've only been in one of these. What do we define as the goal of the case clinic?
We would like to have that's the beginning of a mapping exercise. So the idea is to understand as much as we can about Christiana's story, and then start mapping the relationships within her community that we can identify already, and then guide her through a process of discovery to drill down on that. And then out of that comes the blueprint, where we have now a needs analysis, where we can then see what resources could we connect her with, to move into the next phase.
Okay. So yeah, I think that keeps going back to, we should probably have a skeleton ready ourselves, that we've been talking about on and off, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a learning process from both ends of the table, I think. And that's the beauty of it all, because yes, you have a practitioner in here that is trying to understand the blueprint, but at the same time, you wanting to help the practitioner, you need to have a blueprint as well. So it's perfect.
Yeah, totally. I love working with you, Christiana. Let's go on to this mutual journey of discovery. Yes.
Thank you very, very much.
Okay.
And Summit, thank you very much for being present.
Your work is so impressive, and it just sounds like you've made a lot of progress. Even having 450 farmers on your roster, in California, people would like kill to get 450 farmers on their Rolodex.
That's right. Yeah.
But